Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love. And I'd hate to.
Yeah, speaking of High Point, though, gotta start talking about basketball because I'm sure you've been seeing stuff. Um, in terms of people coming, people going. I feel like a lot of, I basically I feel like the team left.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how this all transpires. Yeah, I've not checked the transfer portal. I've been too busy with the football transfer portal to look at the basketball transfer portal. But yeah.
What's been going on with football?
Oh, so you know me, I'm a Cal Berkeley fan, right? Cal fan,
Right.
right? So, not bad, Uh our starting running back for the past 2, 3 years are basically are the best player on the team by far. He decided, you know what? I'm going to Oklahoma. He dipped to Oklahoma um for his last year eligibility. I think the starting quarterback from last year, he left for Indiana University.
Oh, really?
We lost a starting running back. The we lost five running backs on our roster to transfer portal.
Well,
Like the first five running backs of last year's depth chart are no longer on the team, including the superstar. They're all
really?
they're all on different teams now, or they're at least their names in the portal.
Oh my God.
Starting quarterback from last year, he's gone. Um, let's see here. Tight end just entered the transfer portal. Starting tight end entered the transfer portal. So
Really?
starting running back, five running backs, starting tight end, starting quarterback. Um, there's probably more, and I can go on, but do I really need to explain after the number after the deep number one threat you have in the safety blanket and tight end, the starting quarterback, and five running backs? Do I need like I could probably go on, and I could probably find a list of more people that they lost, but like I don't need to go back into that. That would be a long list. So a lot of
So this
pieces
just sounds like it's a lot of
transferring.
pain and agony.
It is. Welcome to the world of the transfer portal in college sports right now. You know?
All right.
Right? It's great, right? It's always great, right? Until it starts happening and affecting your average mediocre team.
Right. So is it one of those things where kind of like with High Point, right? Where, let's say with the starting quarterback and the starting running back, right? The stars is one of those things where they're really, really good on their current
Yeah,
team. And
like the
then,
starting running back is gonna be he's going to Oklahoma, right? He left to go to Oklahoma, which is an SEC school now. Right? And you know, he probably could have gone pro and declared for the draft, but no, he's like, yeah, last year of eligibility, we're going to Oklahoma. I'm
oh,
like,
I could have gone pro.
well, well, at least put his name in the portal, right? Because he's draft eligible type of thing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You only need to be 3 years removed from high school to be draft eligible for football. Different, different complete story for basketball, but
All right.
like, it's so yeah. I'm you know, I saw like a couple more commits have come in, so like we'll see. But it's interesting to see how this team's gonna work out. And the head coach is very iffy or so, right? He's polarizing not because of his personality, but because of what he does on the field, right? He's either you like him or you're like, I'm sick of mediocrity and I need someone else as head coach. So it's all good. Everyone's like, oh, everyone's like wondering why I cheer for Penn State. I'm like, because I'm tired of rooting for me just trying to get into a bowl game.
All right.
Tired of mediocrity, which is what Cal football it has been ever since Jared Goff left for the pros.
Yeah, no. There's a few interesting bowl games this year too. Another big one I was kind of trying to pay attention to was the Chapel Hill, or now I should say Chapel Bill, right? With our boy Bill Belichick. Um, and then they played a UConn up at Fenway, but that was kind of a blowout. But Um, I was gonna say, how did Penn State turn out this year?
I think they lost in the quarterfinals of the playoff, right?
Oh,
So,
did they?
or uh, or no, they lost in I think the semifinals of the playoff. Um, it's it was a while ago. Like it feels like a long time ago, but then again, it was only like I guess it could be in a while ago. It was almost 3 months ago, so like mid-January. So yeah, but like it's so they did okay. I think they were semifinalists, but like it was one of those things where they had a good path, where they had to play Gentee, I think, in the second round, where they had to play Boise State in the second round, um,
Mm,
which is like probably favorable if you're a Boise State, if you're Penn State, and then Penn State, of course, you know, lost to the team that lost to uh Ohio State in the championship game. So Ohio State looked like
gotcha.
Ohio State looked like a man possessed on that run, man. Ohio State looked like they were just destroying everybody through their stops on that when they were playing.
Gotcha.
Whatever. It's okay. I'm excited. It's draft day is in 2 days. We got 2 days until the NFL draft. That's honestly
All
where
right.
all my focus is on is right now is Warriors basketball, NHL hockey in general, because I love playoff hockey.
Best part of the year, playoff basketball, playoff hockey.
Yeah, and then and then we got the NFL draft coming on Thursday, so it's gonna be interesting to see how the Patriots do, what the Raiders do, what all the other teams in the top five do, and where all the quarterbacks kind of land. That's gonna be interesting to see where the quarterbacks land.
All right. Yeah, no, the Patriots are up there in terms of draft picks. They better our guy Mike better pull off big.
Yeah, I
You know,
gotta.
where are the Raiders ending up in terms of the draft spot?
They're in. I think they're sixth. They're sixth, right? So they'll be in an interesting spot. Because they can go a bunch of ways. Um, I've seen mock drafts taking an offensive lineman, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, it's not sexy, but like it's probably needed, right? Like it's important, right? You're like six overall offensive tackle.
All right.
But yeah, so they have us going because someone needs to help keep Geno Smith upright. The new quarterback of the Raiders is Geno Smith.
Mm,
Um, so I don't think they're gonna go. Don't think they're gonna go quarterback only because they just paid Geno Smith. So they might go
mm.
quarterback in a later round. Um, I wouldn't mind them going running back or offensive tackle or cornerback in the first round, and then go back in the second round and try to get a good solid like a day two type of guy who I think might fall in the second round if I'm gonna be honest, like Jalen Milroe. Like that's gonna be the wild card, is as I say, the wild card like every other quarterback. I mean, every other draft is gonna be where do the quarterbacks fall,
Mm.
right? What are the trades gonna be in the top 10? Because we all know that there's always gonna be trades in the first round, most likely. And this is definitely going to be an interesting draft. I'm like, where did the quarterbacks happen? So that's why I'm like, if you're going to go, if they're going to go offensive tackle or running back on the first round, if you can get like back in the back end of the first round or beginning of the second round and try to see if there's a quarterback, because everyone's like thinking that Sanders might fall.
Oh, really?
I've like that's what I've heard is like Sanders might fall, and I think Cam Ward, I think is going to be one. I think that Cam Ward, the guy quarterback from Miami, he's going to be one, and I don't think it's not really a discussion anymore. Um, Travis Hunter probably will go too. But like, where does the outside of that, where does all the other quarterbacks go outside of number one pick, right?
All
Because
right.
if mock draft, Shador Sanders going 21 to Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin just be like, just doing his thing, and he'll be like, "Yep, I'm all set, all set." So we'll see. Like, and then I just don't know how. Yeah, I don't see how this is going to be all transpired because there's some good quarterbacks. There's good quarterbacks, but I think I've only seen like two quarterbacks coming in the first round. So like, I just want to know outside those two quarterbacks, outside of Sanders and outside of who we know is going to be number one in Cam Ward, where do all the other quarterbacks go?
All right.
And I've not seen any quarterback Patriots taking any quarterback yet on any mock draft, but you know, I just don't, yeah, there's always one t spiral going to be on opening night, and I have no idea what's going to be. Probably going to be
All
quarter.
right. And speaking of quarterbacks, you guys got our boy Tom and Tom
Oh yeah,
Tom Brady is a minority owner, right?
yep. He's apparently been like not working with Shador Sanders, but I've seen um him like at least like talk about or look at Shador Sanders. Um, so it's interesting to see how that develops, right? Because I th like him during like yeah, so he's like there's some pre-existing sort of relationship with minority owner Tom Brady. But like I think he's like he's saying stuff like I couldn't be more grateful, but da, da, da. And like it's one of those things where it's like Tom Brady's like worked with Shador and he's like, yeah, he's good. Like it's like it was not a ringing endorsement. So that's where I'm like,
Mm.
what's this about? Why aren't you ring endorsement? What's with the ring endorsement here? Like you would think if you're working with Tom Brady, you would need a ring endorsement, especially if your team might want to that Tom Brady's minority owner of want to take a quarterback. If you're not doing a ring endorsement, I don't think that's going to happen. So I that's sort of what I'm saying is like I think we all yeah, number one, we know where number one's going to be, and the interesting aspect is going to be who yeah, yeah, exactly. How do these quarterbacks sort of line up or who does? Because you got the Louisville quarterback, you got Miami quarterback who's gonna be one, and then you got Shador Sanders and you got that. So I just don't know what they're gonna do.
Mm.
I see how that all works out. And maybe they don't. Maybe they're just like, screw it. We'll wait for a quarterback. Maybe we just go get. I could see the Raiders at least just taking Genty instead if he's there, or trading
Oh
back to
yeah.
get Genty. Like there's so many ways that this thing can go. Because I can see the Raiders just either picking someone that they like right there, or just trading back because they're like, we can get the guy we want later in the draft because of positional value and no, our board's different than other people's board. That's the whole thing about the old regime. The old regime, God bless their soul, but the Gruden or yeah, the 2021 regime, they just yeah, that's been screwed. Yeah, so it's been interesting to see how this all develops. I just yeah. So yeah, we got about 2 days until this all transpires. We know the Patriots are probably still looking for their core. I don't know if they're still looking for a quarterback or anything, but do you
Yeah, I
think
don't
the
know. I think from what I've been hearing, I think they're okay with what's his name? Mac Jones. Um, I think they're pretty stoked about him. Um, and I know we just got y'all's former best friend Josh McDaniels back on our
Yeah.
staff and
He's still
in
on the
terms of
team?
offense. So we just re-signed him back. Um, so the lovely former head coach of your Raiders.
He just
Uh,
shouldn't get another head coaching job in his whole entire life, regardless of where it is. The only time he should even be considered for a head coaching job should be a high school or maybe a low tier bad college coach.
all
Like,
right.
like that man just never could get another head coaching job in all of this, and especially in the NFL.
All right, so we'll see how he does back again with us in the offensive role. But so far, from what I've been hearing, uh, instead of Drake and Josh, Mike and Josh, um, have been pretty stoked. So hopefully, the former UNC star can have some weapons around him.
What's the buzz with
And
the new head coach?
there's a lot of excitement. Yeah, as we know, we brought on former linebacker Gerard Mayo as the head coach for last season. That stunk. Uh, but Mighty Mike, uh, of course, it's to a former player. But the good thing about him, though, is that he's had former coaching experience with the Titans before somehow, some way he was let go. Um, so the only thing is, I think we should have signed him a season earlier. But heck, we have him.
Yeah.
He's here. And yeah, now it's just about make it all happen. But I think we might have at least a winning season, which is something we haven't had for a while. So that's my biggest thing. As long as we are at least a game above 500, I'm fine with that. Now
I
playoffs will be crazy, but
I have to say because I have to do it. I'm like, yeah, you're like, we have to be a game above 500, which we have not had in a while. I'm like, dude, you got spoiled for 15 to 20 years.
all right. So
You
this
got
is bound to
spoiled for
happen, right?
17 years.
So yeah, I knew it was supposed to come to an end. It did come to an end, but it's gotta get back on that Patriots way.
You still have had a more successful past 25 years as a franchise than almost everyone else in the league,
All
besides maybe
right.
Kansas City, even including Kansas City, actually.
All right. Um, so now it's just a matter of how can we take Kansas City down? So I think everybody's starting to get sick of them a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because they're yeah, see what how it happens. No, they got taken down last year with by Philly. They
All
got
right.
in the Super Bowl.
So that was good. That was good to see. Philly making something happen. Philly
Exactly.
special. Or the or was the tush push rather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've been doing that, and I've seen like when we talk about like can we look at the quarterbacks? If you look at the quarterbacks around the league, I was scrolling through this earlier, saw like a top five, top six quarterbacks in the league right now. I'm like, there has been, I think we would, it's probably Lamar Jackson. Obviously, it's Patrick Mahomes. Um, I would say I want to say CJ Stroud, but like at the same time, it's
Mm.
still too early for me to put that on there because I'm like, even I'm not a fan of anyone in the AFC South. I don't have any allegiance to anyone in the AFC South, but I'm like, dude, it was 1 or 2 years.
All
You need
right.
like but yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how this all sticks out. And if you think about the best quarterbacks in the AFC and NFC, you gotta be thinking there's only X guys who can win Super Bowl, especially with Mahomes and Kansas City. It's gotten even harder for all these other quarterbacks to compete or organizations.
Right, it's a brutal world out there. It's dog eat dog world. The good thing is they're just living in it. So
It, exactly, yeah, and so that's where it covers the NFL because, as I say, it's kind of the off season and sort of all the free agency signings have been either going to be waited until after April this weekend because we know this weekend can be in the draft, so a lot of needs are going to be filled. Um, but we just started the NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs. Have you been watching any of that?
I have not, but have been following up with it a little bit. I know the Celtics just beat the Magic their first game a few days ago. Um, and so clearly Orlando left the Magic at the Harry Potter world in Universal Studios because they did not bring it with them to the game. Um,
Yeah.
but funny enough, so we were actually in um, Massachusetts about a week and a half ago, and we were walking in downtown Boston. And speaking of the Celtics, we ended up walking into the owner, John Grusbeck. Mr. Grusbeck, or however you say his name. But yeah, we ended up walking into current owner and governor of the Boston Celtics. So that was
How did
pretty
that
darn
go?
cool. So by the time we got close to him, he was kind of bucking it, but so we didn't really get to talk to him. But we were close to him. So maybe that was a good sign of the Celtics are winning back-to-back NBA championships. So I know you really want that.
Yeah, because I definitely want that. It's not like I want my team personally to win the NBA championship.
All right.
Like what? Let's see here. Kind of curious. Let me see what we got here. Let's see what the futures are with the NBA right now. Who are the favorites? Oh, Celtics. There you go. It's second best odds to win it and win the championship right now behind the
There you
Thunder.
go. I'll take those odds.
Plus 200. It's not even worth me to put it to plus 200 on the future at this point.
All right. He won't make much of that.
I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna just because I want to, and just because I feel like I'm gonna do it, just because I want some cheddar. Cheddar.
Got bunnies.
12 to win one. 12 to win 180. There you go. And yeah, as we, as a professional podcast like this, of course we do not condone gambling. We just acknowledge that it exists in our community. So any younger viewers, don't do this. But yeah, if you look
Don't
at
pick the age.
if you look at the futures right now, it's Celtics are plus 200, Cavs are plus 600, Thunder are plus 175, which you're like, dude, I can get plus 175 at an underdog in a random NBA game.
All right.
Like I can't wait around. I don't want to really wait around a month and a half just to cover a plus 175. But the interesting thing I think is because they got some shooting, and if Curry can get hot, the fourth best odds are plus 1400, the Warriors behind the Celtics, Cavs, and Thunder.
All right. So
And
that's big thing. You just gotta
that's
watch
one of
out for
those things
him.
where they went through the playing game, but I was watching some of their games, man. Curry was they were shooting it lights out. Like not just Curry, but like everybody. Pacheco, Pizzancheco was doing his thing. So they're one of those teams in the play-in that's like it depends on what they match up is, and they have honestly odds than the Lakers, who are like the 3 seed in the West.
Mm,
I'm like, it's just one of those things where it's like I don't trust the Lakers. Like I think they could go far, but I don't necessarily trust the Lakers as a team outside.
right. Yeah, they've been so wishy-washy.
Like, there's no question they're not a good team, but it's just So I would say probably definitely as the book sort of put is the Celtics and the Thunder should definitely be the favorites. But if you want someone outside of those things, it's probably I would say the you know the Warriors are probably a good bet to make. Um, I'm unsure. I don't really know if I trust the Bucks. I don't trust the New York Knicks to an extent. So I there's so few teams that I just trust in this that's left.
All right.
Right? So there's a reason why there's one team at plus 175, one at plus 200, one at plus 600, and the next best odds are plus 1600 and
Oh,
plus 4000, 2000.
I got a darn jump,
That's what
huh?
I'm saying. Like those are the
Oh,
best odds. Is Warriors are the fourth best odds at plus 1400, but the one above them is plus 600. So
oh,
they really the books only think that three teams might win the championship, honestly.
all right.
And it's gonna be interesting to see how this all pals it out. Um, but yeah, and when we talk about, of course, so we talk about sports and we talk about all these other things that are going on, we're sort of acknowledging that it's baseball season just started. We like to
Mm.
talk about football and we love talking about hockey and basketball, but MLB sort of just got in full swing a couple weeks ago. How's that going on, Jason?
Yeah, and I'll say we got about probably a minute and a half left. So
Yeah,
we'll do this kind of do the speed run, and then we'll kind of pick up from here next round.
yeah,
But yeah, no, Red Sox are still wishy-washy, but they're I think kind of finding some sort of groove, even though pitching is still a problem. It always has
yeah,
been, and probably always will be. So that's a conversation that I know I've had in the past, and picking right up where we left off on that. The offense is fine, right? And the offense is doing their thing. Trevor Story and Alex Bregman, um, they're crushing the ball, but yeah, it's just the pitching and the defense that can't figure out what to do with the ball. So
yeah. It's this, and then we have the Sacramento A's now, or just the Athletics, not even Sacramento
they're,
Athletics.
they're right. Playing
So
in a
they
minor league
are,
park, right?
yeah, they're playing in Sacramento. They're playing in Sacramento. I think they're playing in a minor league park. And because the Vegas thing is not done yet, and
Mm,
because they got run out of town by Oakland because of lawsuits and all sorts of fun stuff. So,
heck
but they're
yeah.
10 and 12. They're 10 and 12. The leaders in the division are 13 and 9. Like as
Oh,
I say, we have to acknowledge that we're only 20 games into the season, so like
right.
a lot of this is changing, right? But at the same time, it gives you sort of an idea is like the AL, I think the AL West is gonna be like the best division in all of in the league. I only say this because
Hmm.
I only say this
Bold
because I
statement.
think you got the Rangers. I think the Seattle's gonna be good. I could see depending on how they do it in division, you could have three or four winning records in that division. But at the end of the day, this is all relying on how they play against each other in division round,
All
right?
right.
I could see everyone besides the Athletics having a winning record, and I could see the Athletics having a winning record. It just depends on how this all goes. That's how I think close everything is when it pertains to each team in that division in particular.
Heck yeah. So we got about 20 seconds. And like I said, we'll pick this conversation up next round, but anything else?
I
Anything
think
pressing?
there's nothing pressing. As I say, we have the playoffs in hockey and basketball, the draft coming up this week, and we're just starting to get into the full swing of baseball season. And that's kind of it, besides the college lacrosse. So, um,
Heck yeah.
that's kind of sums up what's going on this week, and we'll pick this up next time or next week maybe.